In talking to other people about this interview, most people were of the opinion that you say things for effect. That you stir controversy. You've made a career out of stirring controversy for the sake of it. Do you agree with that?
No, I think that's really simplistic. Actually, I think sometimes when we don't like something, we try and make it park it in a place so we say, well, that's not real, so that we feel better about it. A bit like ghosts and goblins. We say those aren't real. I don't think they're real either. We say they're not real because then they can't scare us anymore. I think it's a bit like that. Let's imagine she's saying it just for attention, just for a career, and then it will go away. I think that's a really cheap way of imagining that I work. I've been around now, I guess, on the media scale for about 10 years or so now. If you were just gobbing off relentlessly with no purpose, you wouldn't be around now still after your 5 minutes were up, as I keep being told I've got.
How do you feel like, the label, the most hated woman in Britain?
Yeah, that would be a big label to have. And when people make the comparison, she's second hated only to Putin, I always go, there's a bit of perspective for you right there. Or Myra Hindley, she's worse than Myra Hindley. Well, actually, probably not. It's a big old label, but I think, I suppose some people would enjoy that idea of me, that title. They would enjoy the idea that I might get shouted at in the street, or that I can't leave a hotel room, or that my life is now a nightmare of battling between people dying to machete my head off. Whereas I think actually, for me, the opposite is true, and that what I see more and more of is support and encouragement for somebody who's still got a voice and who hasn't been silenced, despite numerous attacks on all sorts of other things, not for physical attacks or shouting in the street, but just hacking, take down your website, go to social services and complain about the welfare of your children, do this to whatever, kind of all sorts of ways of trying to get at me, but it's not going to work because I'm going to carry on. And so I think for me it's just trying to keep that voice for people that feel that they don't have the right to say stuff anymore because there's a list of things we can say. Like, increasingly, the people that preach tolerance are incredibly intolerant. Yeah. And actually, people like me, who are perceived to be very intolerant, are actually very welcoming to other people's views. I completely understand that views and opinions can't be right or wrong. It's not an exam, you're not the invigilator. I have my view, fine. You have yours, brilliant. And, that's also fine. There's no prescription for life and what our views should be. So I don't think this most hated thing is true at all. I think the increasingly loved title is far more true.
Do you feel bulletproof? Do things actually hurt you?
No, I think the bulletproof thing, I go, I feel like that. And actually I feel it's a weird thing about, it makes you strong. I don't know if that kind of really tired thing, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, that's a dreadful phrase. But that weird thing about the more you throw this stuff at me, the more invincible I become. That kind of idea is definitely true for me. So I am impossible to offend. I don't believe you could offend, not you necessarily, but people can offend me. Certainly the first level of attack would always be face, something you're wearing, that level of thing. Pathetic. That's like junior level. Then, the next level, you don't like my writing. So the thing that would upset me if someone thought my work wasn't good enough, or my writing wasn't good enough, or didn't turn up on time, or I was rude to someone, or that would upset me, someone I was working with. But nothing else will offend me. So I do feel kind of strangely bulletproof. When I get gunned down in the street tomorrow, there'll be certainly wry irony in this.
We know a lot about what you don't like, but what makes you happy?
So things that make me really happy are working really hard. I really like work. I don't got this whole work-life balance thing. I think work and life, like, for me, are just one circle. I don't like bossy women that work in HR that are a little bit overweight and have highlights. I particularly don't like them at all in any way, shape or form. I really like my family. I like hanging baskets at the moment. I'm really good at hanging baskets and can beat my mother's triumph. And I like having my family around for roast dinner because I'm really good at roast potatoes, also better than my mum and dad's. Brilliant. That's good. And I also really like... I just genuinely really like people and the conversations I have with people meandering around, because one of the genius things about being a little bit known, or having this sort of nose that is recognisable, is in America, where I worked for 10 years on on Madison Avenue, the great thing about Americans is they talk to you anywhere, whatever time. They have no boundaries about talking to you at all. And I love that. And I missed that actually in the UK. But because you get a little bit known, people do the same thing. They act like Americans around you, and everybody will talk to you. And I think that's a gift, actually. So in a lift, people will talk to me.
So, okay.
They won't be British.
You're quite happy to be accosted in the street at any time by a stranger.
Yeah, genuinely, because people are genuinely really nice and have actually funny things to say, or want to tell me something that they've read or thought about, or I meant to say to you this. Like, it's like having lots and lots of gossipy neighbours.